Welcome to week 40 of your pregnancy. So you finally reached your due date, but no baby. So in this video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about being 40 weeks pregnant, including how the baby is doing, things that you might see different at your next OB appointments, and if you should be doing anything at home to try to get this baby here sooner. But first, if you're new here, my name is Diana. I'm a physician assistant and I specialize in women's health and gynecology. You are watching In the Pink, and if you're new here, In the Pink means in good health and spirit. So if you like being healthy and happy, click subscribe because you are in the right place. Now, if you've been doing the math, you might think to yourself, well, wait, I'm 40 weeks pregnant and at 4 weeks per month, does that mean you are 10 months pregnant now? Now, that would be true if every month were 28 days, but months vary anywhere from 28 to 31 days, which makes it tricky if you want to calculate pregnancy by months. Weeks are always the same amount of days, which is one of the few reasons why pregnancy is measured by weeks. That being said, when we say a pregnancy lasts 9 months, that means that unless you deliver early, you are pregnant all the way through your 9th month. At 40 weeks, the fat continues to be added all over the body to keep the baby warm after birth. Also, your baby's circulatory system is done developing, their musculoskeletal system, their lungs, their brain, and their nervous system all have finished their development. They are ready to come into this world. The question now is, when? Now, you might be wanting to hop onto Google and look up things that you can do at home to make yourself go into labor. And there are a lot of tricks that women will swear by. And how do they know this? Because they will tell you that that's what they did. For example, you might have a sister that swears that she went into labor after eating spicy food. But that is simply because they're 39 and a half weeks pregnant or they're 40 weeks pregnant and they are about to have a baby due anyways, regardless of what they did or what they ate. So let's talk about that for a second. So if you Google the topic, how to induce labor naturally at home, you're gonna find lists filled with things like exercise, sex, nipple stimulation, acupuncture, acupressure, and castor oil or spicy foods. And I could do a video all about this topic, and perhaps down the road I will, because it's really interesting what women will do to get themselves to go into labor at this point. And honestly, I don't blame you at all. I felt the exact same way when I was this pregnant. So these topics have been studied and none of these are likely to cause any harm, but I do recommend that you talk to your OB before you try any of these things. There are some things that your OB or midwife may not want you to do. For example, have sex or be exercising if you are having specific medical issues. And things like castor oil, which I can honestly say I have never purchased in my entire life. Can you even find that at the grocery store? Castor oil and spicy foods can cause nausea and upset stomach and diarrhea. But if you normally eat spicy food, go ahead and continue to eat spicy food. I love spicy food, but it's just not likely to bring on labor.
I'm sorry, women.
Now, nipple stimulation can cause uterine contractions, but the data isn't substantial yet to say if those contractions are actually going to lead to labor. If your sexual partner is a male, the semen contains some prostaglandins that might help your cervix to soften or ripen. But again, does that mean it will make you go into labor? So far, studies do not show that it does. Now, one thing we do have some research on is something called membrane stripping, and it has shown to help to bring on labor. This is something that is done in your OB's office or in the hospital by your OB or midwife. Membrane stripping might cause your body to release something called prostaglandins and could soften the cervix and cause you to go into labor.
Everything is fine, okay? Just don't freak out.
I'm not freaking out.
I was talking to myself.
And of course, you don't need to do anything. You can just sit back and let your baby run the show, at least for another week, because most OBs and midwives will want you to have an elective induction, if you haven't already, by 41 weeks. At this point, studies show that doing an elective induction might help reduce the risk of certain complications like macrosomia, which means the baby's head getting really big. Maternal complications like preeclampsia could decrease your chances of having to have a cesarean and might decrease the risk of stillbirth. So talk to your OB about this possibility for you, and you two can make the decision on if doing an elective induction at this point is appropriate for you, or if you want to wait just a little bit longer. Now that you are 40 weeks, your OB is most likely going to be seeing you twice a week instead of just once a week. At these appointments, they're just going to monitor you and baby a little bit more closely. So they might be checking ultrasounds every single time. They might also be checking something called NST or non-stress test, which is just a way to help keep an eye on the baby. But also remember that you can be doing kick counting at home. This is something that you can do every single day, and it's very reassuring that the baby is doing well. So just to remind you, kick counting means that you need to feel the baby move 10 times within 2 hours. This doesn't mean that the baby's going to be kicking 10 times every 2 hours throughout the day. Just once a day, they need to be moving at least that much. So many times as you go about your day, you're thinking, gosh, the baby's moving 10 times in 10 minutes, and that's totally normal too. You just take note of that yes, baby passed kick counting for today, and you can know that baby's doing just fine. But if you've gone throughout your day and you're thinking, gosh, I haven't really felt the baby move as much, what you can do is get a glass of juice and go lay down and really focus and pay attention on how the baby is moving. Again, the baby needs to move 10 times in 2 hours. And if they don't, give your OB or midwife a call, let them know what's going on, and then they can help you decide if you need to come in to have the baby checked out. Another thing that you might have done when you go to your OB's office is have your cervix checked. They're going to be checking for dilation, cervix, and maybe even the station of where the baby is right now. And if you want to know more about that, I talked a lot about that in week 39, last week's pregnancy video. So I'm going to put a card above me so you can go check that out. Also, if you know anybody else that is pregnant, especially early on in their pregnancy, and you think that they might like this week by week series, be sure to share this video with them. Hopefully it would help them out as well. Finally, I just want to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me share this pregnancy journey with you. Many of you have been following this series since week 4, 5, 6, 7, really early, and you've been updating me throughout your pregnancy and also sharing with me when the baby was born, your baby delivery experience, how you and the baby are doing, and it has meant the world to me. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be a part of this. But don't worry, I'm going to continue to post videos about pregnancy and also about postpartum recovery, common problems of new moms, issues with breastfeeding, and then general women's health issues. So I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. So I hope you continue to watch these videos, share them with anybody that you'd like. I'm also going to put right here a link to my entire pregnancy series. Click on that and I will see you over there. Now you can be a 1 or 2, even 3 centimeters dilated and not be in labor. But when you do go into active labor, the cervix will continue to dilate, and the goal is for you to be fully dilated at a 10 or 10 centimeters dilated